Alrighty, so this probably won't take too long. Basically I'm just going to go through the Sharom stage and talk about some of the new features, and I plan to be releasing this demo later tonight. It's just one stage, but I wanted to get some feedback on how people feel about some of the new features, and figured what the heck. So right off, oh, hang on, I gotta fix them. So right off the bat here, the element resists, being able to see those in the menu is a new thing that was added. Looks like the game capture is a little off. Fix that real quick. So, yeah, I'm planning on really expanding what equipment can do in this game, which I've already done to some extent. So I thought being able to see the elemental resists would be handy for that, plus it's just convenient in general. Some of this code was in the original game, but the feature must have been cut at some point. So I just redesigned the layout of the menu here, and also see everyone has an item. It's because everyone gets a starting item in this hack to expedite just getting the initial equipment on everyone, and so that it's not such a massive jump up whenever you get the first weapons available. And also equipment now scales based on the stage you're in, so you can't get the best stuff in the first stage. Generally you have to get about 2/3 of the way through the game before the best stuff starts showing up. That's all really is to talk about on this screen. If you're not familiar with hard type or in the lap of the gods for Ogre battle, there's been a ton of changes. I've probably spent twice as much time on this hack as every other hack I've done combined. So hopefully one day I get to finish it, but there's just more important stuff going on right now. But yeah, one of the main changes in both hacks is that units don't have a deployment cost. And since I redesigned the status screen to show these elements and stuff, now that just doesn't even show up anymore. So, although it still shows up at the top of the screen here, I'll probably get rid of that at some point, but that's pretty low priority. Let's see, the classes. Advanced classes got tons of changes, and there's a third tier of advanced classes, like something beyond Paladin, something beyond Beastmaster, etc. The first tier probably saw the least changes, but let's see. The Lord, as you can see, only has one attack in the front and back. In the original game, he had 2 in front and 1 in the back. That's just because this is a magic one. The physical ones, they'll start with 2 and have 1 in the back. However, when you level them up, it's different levels for front and back, but by level 15, both of those will have 1 more use, which really helps the Lord carry into the late game. Also, they now have palette swaps for the 4 different types of Lords, so they don't all look the same, which is neato. And that feature was basically just copied over from the PlayStation version of the game. Special characters also keep their palettes in this game, regardless of their class. Let's see. Knight here, you can see, has Smite in the back row. That's just a holy melee attack. Give a little bit of a reason to put him in the back row, but not much. Generally, as the classes advance, their ability to perform in both rows also advances, but at the start, they might be clearly superior in one row over another, but by the end, I want everyone to be able to work in every row. Doll Mage traded Acid for Alchemy. Their Acid attack is now the first attack they use in their Alchemy command set. It's not as strong as the original game, but on the next turn they will do a single target heal that's not based on alignment. So it really synergizes with Golems because they benefit so much from healing due to their low HP. Amazons are basically the same, but they can promote into archers now, which gives female characters a much needed physical class route. Also, Dragoner is female and is a physical class route for them, and Muse and Valkyrie are considerably better in the front than they were in the original, with Muse getting 3 attacks in the front. Golems, as you can see from their stats, much better than the original game. 40. Yeah, large monsters in general have been significantly improved in this hack, because they were a bit lackluster in the original game, more so toward the end than the beginning. In the beginning they were mostly okay, but now they're a little bit better. Although in some ways they were nerfed a little bit. I think their defense isn't quite as good as the original game, or at least some of them. But I'm not sure, I don't really remember that. Wildmen use Rend in the back row. Rend is a black attack that cuts healing in half against that target for the rest of the battle, so it's kind of interesting. Clerics could use some counterplay, so that's what the Wildman line does, because evil ones will use an AoE version of that in the back row, so that's when it gets a bit more serious. Water units. Massive upgrades for water units in this hack. Good chance I'm going to have to scale those back a little bit, but you'll definitely see some action out of this unit. This is just a starting army right here. So the starting army is a lot better than the stuff you would get in the original game, and you get a full 10 squads. But yeah, water units in the water move incredibly fast, as will be demonstrated. Witches got a change very recently, where stun can now wear off when you hit the stunned target, but they also take more damage, and stun's chance to hit is improved. They only start with 1 stun, but the witch now has an upgrade path, so eventually they get their 2nd stun. Okay, I think that's it for the squad introduction. For some people, that's probably a review of a lot of already known stuff, except for the status screen and the witch change. But now let's get into some of the new stuff. Okay, so the flow of gameplay on the map is what's really been targeted recently for changes. When I look at my base, you'll see a couple new icons here. The sword icon is armaments, and that essentially improves your combat performance against the enemy. If I go over to this enemy here, you'll see +3. That means they have a +3 armaments advantage over my army. Go over to this guy, he's also +3. But if I go over to this distant cleric here, they're +10. So to get more armaments, you need to liberate cities. If I look at this city, there's 3 there. Look at this one, there's also 3 there. So if I had both of those, this +10 would become a +4. There's a hidden temple here. If I remember correctly, I think temples just give 1, or maybe it's 2. I guess we'll find out. The other icon that shows up here is this bag, which is supplies. And when I go to deploy, you'll see a 1 out of 4 at the top there. 4 is how many supplies I have, and the 1 is how many deployments I have out. And I cannot deploy more units than I have supplies. So, if I deploy Lons, send him here. Also want to deploy water unit because she's super good, and there's a good amount of water right here. And I want to deploy the flying unit, which is not that one, this one, yes. So that I can get this temple, as quickly as possible, because that is definitely a priority in this mod, is to liberate quickly and completely. So, and then my lord, I want to send this guy. So now if I go to deploy, there are not enough supplies to field more troops. So, no can do. And in the original game, this really wouldn't be a strategic problem, because it's kind of the best way to play, or the most effective way to play, to only use 4 or less squads anyway. But in this hack, money is much more limited, so you can't heal yourself whenever you want, and the game's considerably harder, so you really need to be able to move around the map. Plus, enemies, oh, I didn't even talk about this, enemies starting on towns. That's also new to this version. Before, they would start at the main base, just like the original game, but they would fan out and take different routes to your base, and you had to kind of meet them on the field. Now they start out deployed, so if I were to just rush the boss by avoiding these guys, I'd probably get to like here, and then these 2 guys would start moving on my base. And shortly after, this guy would start moving on my base. So there's no more avoiding all the enemies just to rush the boss. Not that you'd want to anyway, because the boss, if you just rushed him, he's going to have like a 25 armament advantage on you or something, and just wipe the floor with you, probably. And tarot cards are a lot less effective against the boss now, so... And you can only use 3 per battle. It's just kind of a sanity limit on burning down bosses or even just a tough enemy group by just spamming tarot cards at them. So yeah, it's not particularly viable to just rush the boss in this hack. Let's get some action. I was afraid the mermaid got that for a second. She might be a badass, but I don't really want to fight on land. Although if you're going to fight on land, water units do not terrible on cities, but definitely not good. So stunned half of them there, that's good. He took extra damage from the stun, 25% extra, which is about how much extra they're doing to me because of that armaments disadvantage and the level disadvantage. I'm one level down on these guys, I believe. But with the Witch and the Lord in this group, pretty strong group. Able to take them down pretty easily. And previously the first level was kind of crazy hard, and in this version of the hack it's a lot more reasonable. Gonna feel out what people think about that. But it is just the first real level, so it's kind of nice in case someone isn't very familiar with Ogre Battle or has only played it once or something, to give them one stage to get on their feet and get used to the mechanics. But it's definitely harder than the original game and not a cakewalk, I don't think. I guess we'll find out here. So yeah, here we have a wounded unit in the water against a water unit. That's pretty much going to be a slaughter. That's the new move Mermaids get, is one deluge, which just decimates this already wounded unit. Could have switched to Strawn there, but I guess just didn't feel like bothering. So yeah, down they go. Don't fight water units in the water. And now, I'm about to get this town. So that'll up my armaments by 3. This guy has 3, so shouldn't have a hard time with him. It'll be neutral armament advantage. And now let's take a look at how fast this water unit moves. Well, I guess first we're going to have this battle. Always a good time with the devil. Especially this early in the game. No. So if I look at this item shop, it's not changed from previous versions of the demo, but compared to the original game, it's basically just 10 times the cost. So I could buy almost 15 cures if I spend all my money right now, which you start with a good chunk of money. So that would last me a decent while. Actually, I should buy some cures. Let's go with 8. So yeah, money is in limited supply, but you don't want to make the mistake of never using it either, unless you're going for a challenge play. One interesting thing about this version of the game is you could consider the money that you beat the game with as sort of your score, and try to see how high of a score you can get, which I've thought about doing. So this very distant enemy unit is +9, so about to get this +3. There's a town there, there's a temple here, a temple there. So basically, the enemies check if you're doing your due diligence in getting towns liberated, and if not, you'll be taking some extra damage and they'll be taking some less. So that fight's about to start. I was going to mention something. Oh! You see the money value on towns. You actually get that money as soon as you liberate the town in this version of the hack. There's no paydays at noon. In previous versions of the hack, there was also no paydays at noon, but you would only get money for beating the stage. Now you get money whenever you take a town, so if you need some money, you can. That's another reason to go for towns. There's the money, there's the armaments, there's the supplies, there's the fact that regen from towns now scales later into the game. In the original game, it would fall off over time. It'd be a pretty big advantage early on, and then you just kind of lose it. And temples, they don't give you as much armaments or supplies. I think it's one of each. It might only just be armaments, even. I'll have to see when I take one, because it's been a while. But they have a new feature. Instead of revive, they have restore, and you can pay a much less expensive amount of money to heal any units on the temple instantly. It's definitely something I'll have to keep an eye on balance-wise, see how that goes. But helps towns out a little bit since they didn't benefit as much from this new system. Anywho. So I'm gonna expect this Hellhound to go first, so I'll set it to strong to reduce his damage. Get! Dog on me. Then we'll go with weak. Lon's doing work as he does. So this first level here is basically the only level where enemies won't have fully sized units. As you can see, they could have had an extra Beastman or something in that squad. There's one empty space. Just because, again, it's the first real level. And to give it a bit more of a brief learning curve allowance. I still took quite a bit of damage on lawns there, though. Let's see if I can get this town. I might need to throw a heal on him. In fact, I'm going to do just that. So this heal costs 4,000, and this town should give me 7,000, so it's definitely worth a good trade. And yeah, money economy dynamics or something else I'm going to have to keep an eye on balance-wise. So now I should have an armaments advantage on this guy, and he's even more screwed. Wow. These are some rude tarot cards. At some point, I'm probably going to change this tutorial dialogue to describe features that are actually new in the hack. The assumption that people basically already know this stuff. Okay, so I've taken 2 towns now. If I go to the deployment page, as you can see, I've got 2 more. Now, as I often find myself forgetting that I'm able to deploy more units now. I don't know if that's something I just need to get used to or something that's kind of a problem. Not a very big problem, but still. At least I didn't forget for very long. So we'll send these guys out. I want to start massing my force down this main road, because generally enemies will primarily be taking that route to your base. But again, they come other directions, like this guy here. So you got to keep an eye out. Just stay on your toes a little bit. I think I'm still healing. Yeah, he's still healing. So I'll let him rest up. I'm just gonna finish this guy off. Alright, so he took some damage. I'm gonna let him rest up and let these other guys catch up. I'm also letting this guy rest up. He's almost done. I'm not sure where to take him. Maybe I should send him out here because I've already got 2 enemies coming this way. Although, I mean, the mermaid's just gonna wreck their face, probably, so maybe I'll just send the Lord with everyone else. Yeah, because I got that air unit that can come down. Air units in this hack are much less fast than in the original game. Now it's more about their ability to travel over any terrain without, you know, suffering a high level of consequence like mountains or water. But compared to a plains unit on open plains, they're actually slower in this hack. So you don't want to make every unit a flyer necessarily. Actually doing better against me than I thought they would. If I had used the card right before the end there, I probably could have taken them out. So one thing to take note of is if an enemy is able to retreat to the base, they will come back at you with a higher armaments value than they had before. +4. Alright, we're gonna see if this temple gives me armaments, because I legit don't remember. I know they did at one point, but I don't know if I changed it. Yeah, stay with weak. Switch is going to decide how this fight goes. It's going to go well. Yep, that's what happens when Witch doesn't get any stun off and only has 1 octopus to help her out. Can I catch this griffin? I don't think so. maybe.
Liberation. Thank you.
Hey, she got him. After this fight, I'm gonna want her. Let's come back here, grab this hidden city. Hidden cities do have armaments, but they tend not to have supplies, and tend to have a bit less armaments as well. Okay, I got this temple. This enemy was +4 on me, now they're +2. Okay, so temples do give something, still. Clean up Bird Boy here. Guess I probably should have set it to Strong to take that Gale, but oh well. The squad's gonna need to rest for a while anyway. Let's see, does the temple give me a supply? It did give me 1 supply. So right now temples give 1 supply and 2 armaments, which is a bit less than towns tend to give, but not much. Because you can't see what they give, I plan to have them give the same bonus in every temple. So whatever it winds up being, that's what it'll be for the whole game. And you see this guy's starting to come at me. But they are no match for my encroaching army. But if you look back here, they've got a much larger force that I'm going to need to be ready for. Otherwise, you'll just get overwhelmed. How's Lon's doing on his healing? Almost ready. I guess my ninja will probably go first. Just keep it on weak. I've got more attackers. Not gonna get the giant. So that came out pretty even, but I can afford to take even trades right now because I have the numbers for the time being. I'm gonna say Lons is healed enough. I'm about to get this city up here. Should give me 2 armaments and another deployment. Should be handy for this couple of fights right here. And that's something you definitely want to pay attention to in this hack, is how your liberations are going to time with the fights that you have coming. Alright, water unit's gonna rest up, air unit's gonna rally and help protect that town. I didn't think Lons would be the one getting this fight, but okay. Yeah, definitely weak. See if we can't kill this giant off. Yes. Alright, this will be easy now. why you gotta beat on him. Well, he's gonna need to heal again. If I just retreat him a little bit, he can just come up behind Warren here. Well, let's see. Yeah, I think it'd be better to advance to this temple with lawns. Have another deployment I could send out. Not doing a great job of remembering, but I'm not doing an awful job either. If you forget that for long enough, you can definitely screw yourself over. She's got the acid, but that should be faster. I think Warren's also faster. Yeah. Switch over to strong. Switch over to weak. And there's the aforementioned Dull Mage healing, which almost brings this golem back to full, because it's golem. That's how they roll. Large units are quite good to bring against a golem, but they're still pretty tough, and I'm fighting them in the water too, so everybody's damage is lower. Okay, once my lord passes lawns, I think I can start moving him forward.
Right ahead.
Alright, Warren doing work, but now he's pretty hurt. Send him back. Let's see, what's my tarot stash looking like? Okay, it's time to use some tarot cards, I think. Otherwise I'm about to run out. So let's move lawns forward. Let's move Warren forward. And I'm going to go ahead and soften up this group. I'll just use a tower. Ooh, nice. So enemies can wake up on their turns, as they just did, but they lose the turn. And that's pretty worth in this situation, at least. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get a little tarot happy with these guys. Well, I guess there's only two. This wizard's seen better days, so we'll see.
Right it out.
But Again, tarot cards are your friend. You don't want to shy away from using them, even though it can be tempting to just conserve as much as possible. Stunned units also can't evade, so it's a handy little perk in some situations. Alright, let's grab this temple here.
Liberation.
Nothing but negative cards. Such delicious lore. Okay, so I just got into a battle. I'm not in the best shape, but I'm on a temple, so let's go ahead and show this off. I thought I had renamed this to restore character already, but I guess I haven't done that quite yet. Anyway, so much cheaper than a revival would be, but still a little bit pricey. A cure would probably bring him to full too, but this is a little bit cheaper than the 4,000 that would cost. So let's do it. Of course, in a situation like this guy, you can top them off pretty cheaply. So in total, that ran me probably about as much as a liberating one town gives me, so it's a pretty fair price. Probably can't be abused obscenely. But again, something I'll have to keep an eye on. Still healing up there.
Right ahead.
Double would work decently well here. Want to spend more money, so I'll let someone else take over. Not Lauren, so Randy. Can he make it in time? Don't really want to use lawns either. I'll shuffle my board back a little bit. Randy can get in there. No.
Right ahead.
But I'm not too hurt, so... that back left Amazon sprite is an archer. That's why her palette's different. She's able to hit into the back row and just generally is much more physically oriented. She would do pretty well against both my rear liners here. I'll throw a magician on him. Toss out my death card. Oh well. Since I have a Beastman leader, my Giant is actually boosted, which was not a bonus that existed in Vanilla. Did bring it in Ogre Battle 64, so I can't really take credit, but it's a pretty great idea, so we will shamelessly steal it. Let's see this witch. Okay. How's my water unit doing? Should probably be ready to meet that witch by the time I get there. Deployment. Will I catch them? Nope. Oh, yes I will. I will heroically run this unit down. Ouch. Wizard no like arrows. Alright, now I don't want to get stuck with defending this town with one squad. So what I'm going to do is actually get this town. This unit's fresh, so I'll send them up there. So this witch is a flying unit, but as a water unit I'm actually considerably faster in the water. So I should be able to catch them no problem, and she's fully healed at this point, so it's looking good. Lons is also doing good. Bring him up. Warren. Now we begin amassing on the enemy's base. This is a pretty short stage, as one would expect from the first stage of the game.
Fight it out.
Yeah, see, caught her no problem. And we're fighting on the water. Alright, as long as I don't get omni-stunned. Mermaid woke up even though she doesn't have any attacks left. Although I suppose that still matters. She could have been hit by somebody and would have taken more damage. Let's see if I can get that witch with one of these two guys. The water unit's just cruising, but no, too much land in the way.
Fight it out.
This is actually a full enemy squad, so they might have roughed me up a little bit. Not really. I wind up using a priestess though. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use a priestess. Just keep this squad in the fight. Nice. Try to keep him from getting on that town.
Find out. Liberation.
Wow. Such evil cards. Glad this isn't a real run. Alright, so this town was worth another 2 armaments and 1 supply, which allows me to deploy my last unit. So in this stage, it takes almost every city before you're able to deploy a full 10, but in larger stages you get that a lot sooner. Just because you have more ground to cover, it's more important to have a larger force sooner. One's all healed up, so let's start knocking on this door. He's got +7 on me right now, and that's with almost the entire map liberated.
Fight it out.
Go to strong to take this hit, then go to weak to take out this wizard. Hopefully. Maybe. Oh, that's rough. Alright, well, she deserved that for being such a failure. Alright, can my entire squad kill 1 hellhound? The answer may surprise you. Alright, well, don't want to deal with that. Pattison here getting all the cleanups. That seems like a fair fight. Stun everyone. Almost. Great. Wonderful. That was an incredible battle. You think you're getting a town? You're not getting a town. Alright, Gollum. You did it. It was a hard-fought battle.
Liberation.
But we pulled through.
Thank you.
Such advice. Alright, Pattison needs to rest up a bit. Everyone else can advance on the castle. And this here is how we fight a boss. The way every hero fights a boss. Like 40 on 5. Alright, we're rolling up on Gilbert with our crew. There's actually something I'm interested in testing later, so I'm going to make a save state here. Alright, don't know if that's quite everyone, but I'm going anyway. It's not. Get in there, guys. What do you think this is? You think you can count on your 7 allies to carry all the weight? Nah.
Fight it out.
to hit from Gilbert with any kind of decency. The answer is no. Yeah, bosses do not mess around. So I'm going to throw out a card here, just to show boss resistance to it. So it would take quite a few cards to bring him down. Is he about to kill my golem? Could try running, but when you run away in this hack, you get some free hits on you from enemies. And if one of those hits is Gilbert, I'm gonna have a bad day, so let's go ahead and look out for a golem. He served us well. I remember when he punched that wizard. It was a good time. That's right, we're going deathless. I took him down by half, that's pretty good. Oh, not Zora. This isn't what I wanted. So let her deluge. Oh. Guess I may as well let the octopus hit him now too, since pretty much this whole team is gone. Alright. Run away. So this is what happens when you run away. You might get beat down city. Oof. So every enemy has a chance to hit you as you retreat. I got pretty unlucky there with 4 out of 5 of them hitting me. Who do I want to finish this up with? Yeah, that was pretty rough. Basically not worth running away. If the one that didn't hit me had been Gilbert, that would have been okay. Okay. Warren, that's fitting. Now we're just gonna unload. Let's get a star card. Full card against bosses only removes their front row, so in Gilbert's case that's not very good, but for some bosses that would be quite helpful still. So yeah, pretty much damage the rest of these. Clear out his goons. Yep. It still does the same thing to normal units, it's just boss units. And as you can see, can't use any more cards. 3 is the limit. Still pretty devastating to unload 3 cards in one fight. Got him. Big money. Yeah, so I guess I have 100k goth going to stage 3. That's more than I thought it would be. Well, yep, that's the demo. That's just that one stage right now. So that's pretty much going to be the stream. I will put in a link to where I'm going to upload this later tonight, if you're interested in playing it for yourself. Where I'm going to upload this later. It will be here. So yeah, thanks for watching. And hopefully one day we'll be finishing this thing.